This is my presentation on Eleanor Roosevelt by Giancarlo Galli. Eleanor Roosevelt was born on October 11, 1884, in New York City to two prominent Dutch parents. Her mother fell ill before Eleanor was 10 years old and succumbed to this illness. Her younger brother also died to the same illness. Her father was not around due to his alcoholism and later died due to an illness related to it. When she was 10 years old, she was taken in by her grandmother, who raised her. She sent her to a boarding school in London when she was 15, before Eleanor moved back to New York when she turned 17. By the time Eleanor was 18, she was already very involved with social work. She had been working at the Rivington Street Settlement House, teaching calisthenics to children. She also taught dance to underprivileged children and was a member of the National Consumers League, where she inspected working conditions in factories. Eleanor Roosevelt married her cousin, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, on March 17, 1905. When her husband rose to power, eventually becoming president in 1933 and serving until 1945, Eleanor focused more on social work than on high society. Because of her husband's polio diagnosis, Eleanor took over many of his public duties and appearances. Eleanor and Franklin had 6 children together, one of which passed away at 7 months old due to influenza. This sent Roosevelt into a deep depression, something she struggled with her entire life. When she found out about her husband's affair, Eleanor and Franklin drifted apart, their relationship becoming more of a political alliance than it was a marriage and partnership. Eleanor Roosevelt had very liberal views, even more so than her husband, Franklin D. Roosevelt. She fought for many different social reforms. These include women's suffrage, workers' rights, and civil rights. Additionally, she fought for Jewish refugees during World War II. She was a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution until 1939, where she fought for women's rights, until she resigned due to racial issues in the organization. She was also a member of the NAACP, fighting for the rights of African Americans. Eleanor Roosevelt joined the Women's Trade Union League in 1922. There, she fought for women's rights as workers. These rights included minimum wage laws as well as maximum hours laws. She resigned from the organization Daughters of the American Revolution after they refused to allow African American singer Marian Anderson to play at Constitution Hall. Roosevelt organized another concert for Anderson to play at Lincoln Memorial instead. Roosevelt was appointed head of the United Nations Human Rights Commission in 1946. There, she was extremely important in drafting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Eleanor Roosevelt was a first lady like none other, reinventing the position with much greater involvement. Even after her husband's death in 1945, Eleanor Roosevelt continued to fight for social change and reform. She was known as the First Lady of the World by President Truman and many others. John F. Kennedy appointed Roosevelt to his Committee on the Status of Women. There, she fought for equal pay laws, something that women are still fighting for to this day. Eleanor Roosevelt achieved many great feats in her lifetime. She was not only a champion for human rights, but also for workers' rights and the rights of women. Truly, she was one of the most influential women, and people for that matter, of her time. Eleanor died November 7, 1962, due to a rare form of tuberculosis. She She was the very first recipient of the United Nations Human Rights Award after her death.